The fall. The sky burned red above the battlefield. Smoke rose from broken ships and crushed metal. Bodies of soldiers, some alien, some human, lay scattered on the ground. The war had come here, and it had taken everything. Kalara crawled, behind a large piece of wreckage. Her side was bleeding. She pressed her hand against the wound, trying to stop the blood. Her breath came in short gasps. Her silver armor was cracked and useless now. Her rifle was gone. She was alone. She looked up at the dark sky. A cold wind blew across the ground, carrying the smell of fire and death. Her team was gone. All of them, killed in the ambush. She had been the scout, sent ahead to check the enemy's position. But the enemy had been waiting. Traps were already set. It wasn't a battle. It was a slaughter. Now she was the last one. Her mind screamed at her to move, to run, but her body was weak. Blood dripped from her fingers onto the dirt. She leaned back against the metal wall and closed her eyes. "So this is it," she whispered. "This is how I die." Footsteps. She froze. Slow, heavy boots moved across the ground, crunching glass, shifting rubble. Someone was coming. She forced her eyes open and reached for the small knife on her belt. It was all she had left. The footsteps stopped. A shadow appeared in the smoke. Tall, broad shoulders, a weapon in hand. It was not one of her kind, it was a human. Her heart raced. He was covered in dust and ash. His armor was scratched and dented. His face was hard, serious, but his eyes looked tired, like he had seen too much. The weapon in his hands was pointed down, not at her. Kalara raised her knife with a shaking hand. The human did not shoot. He slowly knelt beside her. "Easy," he said. His voice was low, calm. "I'm not your enemy." She blinked, confused. She had heard of humans before, seen them from far in battles. Her commanders said they were animals, dangerous, cold. But this one, he was helping her? Why are you here?" she asked weakly. He looked at her wound. "You're bleeding bad. That needs to be closed." He reached into his pack and pulled out a small silver box. Inside were bandages and spray foam. She didn't stop him when he touched her side. The pain made her hiss, but the bleeding slowed. The foam hardened. She felt a little stronger. "You're helping me?" she asked, her voice rough. He nodded. "You're not dead. That's enough reason." She looked into his eyes. "I don't understand. We're supposed to be enemies." He didn't smile, just said, "Maybe that's the problem." Behind them, something moved in the smoke. The human's head turned sharply. He stood up, rifle ready. "They're coming," he said. "We have to go." Kalara tried to stand, but her legs gave out. The human caught her before she fell. "I can't run," she said. He didn't speak. He just lifted her up into his arms like she weighed nothing. She gasped. "You don't have to do this." He looked down at her. "Yeah, I know." With her in his arms, he ran into the shadows, disappearing from the battlefield. As the smoke thickened and enemy soldiers moved in, the only trace left behind was blood on the dirt and a broken knife. The warrior's code, darkness, surrounded them as Cole ran across the dead land. His boots crushed the ash and bones beneath him. In his arms, Kalara drifted in and out of consciousness. Her blood had soaked into his armor, but he didn't stop. He couldn't. Behind him, shadows moved, fast and silent. Enemy scouts were searching, hunting for survivors. Cole ducked behind a wrecked transport and slowed his breath. The cold air stung his lungs. He looked down at the alien woman in his arms. Her skin was pale now. Too pale. She had lost more blood than he thought. But she was still breathing. "I didn't carry you this far for you to die now," he whispered. A low humming sound buzzed in the air. Drones. He laid her down gently behind a broken wall, aimed his rifle toward the sky, and waited. The drone lights passed over them, scanning. He didn't move, didn't blink. 1 second. 2. The lights vanished. He exhaled and quickly picked her up again. 20 minutes later, he found a narrow cave hidden behind a rock slide. The entrance was small, just enough for a man to squeeze through. Inside, it was dark and silent, a place untouched by war. He laid Kailara down on a flat stone surface. She shivered. He removed his pack, lit a small glow stick, and opened his emergency medkit. Her armor had fused to her side from the blast. He had to cut it off piece by piece. She flinched in pain but didn't wake. He sprayed more foam, added pressure, then covered the wound with a thermal pad. Only then did he sit back, finally breathing. Cole leaned against the wall and looked at her face. Strange, alien, but calm now. Why was he helping her? She was supposed to be the enemy. A soldier from the Zirine Dominion, one of the species at war with Earth's coalition. The Zirine were powerful, fast, deadly in combat. But this one? She looked young, not much older than 20 in human years. She had fought bravely, but now, here she was, wounded and helpless. Something about that felt wrong. Not because she was alien, because she reminded him of someone. His sister. Gone now. Killed in the first wave of attacks. No warning. Just fire from the sky. Cole had joined the military the next day. He clenched his jaw and turned away from the memory. Behind him, Kailara groaned and slowly opened her eyes. She looked around, confused. "Where are we?" she whispered. "Safe. For now," Cole said, her eyes focused on him. "You didn't leave me." "No," he said. "I didn't." There was silence between them, heavy and strange. "You're not what I expected," she said. "Neither. Are you?" She tried to sit up but winced. "You could have killed me." "I still could." She gave a weak laugh. "Then why haven't you?" Cole didn't answer right away. He looked out at the dark cave entrance. "Because I'm tired of this war," he finally said, "and because you were screaming for help with your eyes, even if you didn't say it." Kailara looked at him. Something inside her shifted. "All my life," she said, "I was told humans were monsters, beasts in metal, that your people destroy planets just for power." He glanced at her. "Funny. That's exactly what they told us about you." "Maybe. We're both being lied to." He didn't reply, but the look in his eyes said he was thinking the same thing. A loud boom echoed outside. Both turned sharply. Rocks fell near the cave's mouth. Cole reached for his rifle. "They're sweeping the area. If they find this cave, we're dead." Kailara tried to stand. "Then we fight." He stopped her gently. "You can't fight. Like this." "Then what do we do?" He checked his gear. "We wait, then move at first light." She leaned back, breathing slowly. "What's your name?" "Sergeant Cole Rayner." "Kailara, daughter of Commander Sheeran of the Zirine." He nodded once. "Well, Kailara, let's try not to die tonight." Another silence passed. This one softer. Then Kailara asked, "What do you fight for, Cole Rayner?" He looked into the glow stick light. His jaw tightened. "I used to think I was fighting for revenge," he said. "For my family, for Earth. But now, I don't know." She watched him closely. "Maybe I'm just trying to find something left that's still worth saving." Outside, the wind howled. A distant scream echoed through the rocks, one not human, not Zirine, but something else, something worse. Both of them heard it. Kailara shivered. "What was that?" she asked. Cole looked at his rifle, then at her. "Not our people," he said. "Something else is out there." She swallowed hard. "Then we stay together." He nodded, agreed. The escape. The scream from the mountain still echoed in the cave. It was not human, not Zirine. It sounded ancient, like something that should have stayed buried, something hungry. Kailara sat up, trembling. The pain in her side was still sharp, but fear made her forget it. Cole Rayner stood at the mouth of the cave, staring out into the darkness with his rifle tight in his hands. His eyes scanned the night like a machine, calm, trained, always watching. "That wasn't one of ours," Kailara said. "No," Cole replied, not turning around. "And it wasn't theirs either." She limped to his side. The wind had picked up, blowing dust and ash across the wasteland. In the distance, a red flare rose into the sky, followed by two more. "Signals. Search parties. Those are from your people," she said. "No," Cole answered. "Look at the pattern. One short, two long. That's Zyrene military code. They're not searching for survivors. They're closing in." Kailara's breath caught. "They're hunting me," he nodded. "And they're not the only ones." She looked at him. "You said something else was out there." Cole didn't speak for a moment. Then he said quietly, "I saw it, after the ambush. When the smoke cleared, the body, they weren't just shot or burned. They were torn apart." Kailara frowned. "You think a beast did it?" "I think," Cole said slowly. "We've been fighting the wrong enemy all along." Suddenly the ground shook beneath their feet. A deep rumble, far away, but growing. Kailara leaned against the wall, trying to balance. "What is that?" "Trouble." Cole grabbed his pack, slung it over one shoulder, and reached out his hand to her. She hesitated, then took it. They left the cave behind and moved fast through the black terrain, staying low, keeping to the shadows. The war zone was quiet now, but the silence wasn't peaceful. It was waiting. They crossed the skeleton of a destroyed tank beast, its long alien legs bent, cockpit shattered. Inside, the pilot was still strapped in, face frozen in terror, claw marks across the glass. Kale turned away. Something was watching them. She could feel it. Every few minutes, Cole stopped and pointed at strange signs in the dirt, long, dragging, claw tracks. Not mechanical, not normal. "Whatever did this," he muttered. "It hunts at night." They reached an abandoned outpost buried half in the ground. The metal doors were bent open, like someone had ripped them off. Inside was dark, full of dust and flickering lights. "This used to be a joint station," Cole said. "Before the betrayal." Kailara looked around. "You mean before the peace talks failed?" He gave a dry laugh. "There were never peace talks, just lies. Both sides needed a new enemy." They entered a control room. Terminals were dead, but Cole managed to power one with his portable core. The screen flickered to life. Kale read the logs with him. What she saw made her chest tighten. Secret, orders, false battle reports, planned attacks. On both human and serene targets, made to look like the other side had done it. This can't be real," she said. Cole looked at her. "Now you understand." Before she could answer, the screen turned black. Then a single word appeared, in alien glyphs. "Run." The walls shook. A loud metallic scream came from the hallway. Cole jumped to his feet and raised his rifle. Out of the shadows, something moved, fast, wrong. It crawled on all fours, too long, too many joints. Its skin shimmered like liquid metal, eyes glowing like fireflies. It had no mouth, just a shifting face of plates. Kailara backed away. "What is that?" "No idea," Cole said. "But it's not here to talk." The creature lunged. Cole, for the rounds hit it square in the chest, but the thing barely flinched. It crashed into Cole, slamming him into a wall. Kyle screamed and grabbed a shock blade from the control table. She slashed wildly, catching the creature's neck. Blue sparks flew, and it screamed, a terrible high-pitched sound that shook the room. Cole pushed off the wall and emptied his rifle into its chest. This time it fell back, dead, for now. Cole grabbed her arm. "We have to move. More will come." They ran out into the open night again, breathless. "Where do we go now?" Kale asked. Cole pointed to the eastern ridge. "Old evac tunnels. If we can reach them, we can disappear." "What if they're sealed?" He looked at her. "Then we blow them open." As they climbed the hill, more howls rose behind them. Not one, not two, many. Kalara gritted her teeth. What are those things? Cole didn't look back. I think they're what this war was meant to hide. She didn't ask what he meant. She was too afraid of the answer. Truth revealed. The tunnels were colder than Kalara expected. They were old, forgotten. Built during the early days of the war, when both human and Zyrine soldiers used them to trade information in secret. That time was long gone. Now they were filled with dust, silence, and the echoes of a war no one truly understood anymore. Cole Rayner moved ahead of her, his rifle raised, flashlight sweeping over ancient walls. Faded warning signs in 2 languages marked the rusted panels. Are you sure this place is safe? Kale asked, her voice low. No, Cole replied, but I'm sure we're out of time. Behind them the howls had stopped, but that only made it worse. The silence felt like a trap waiting to close. Those creatures, they didn't stalk like animals. They hunted with purpose, like soldiers, and worst of all, they knew who to hunt. As they moved deeper, the lights above flickered to life one by one. Emergency systems, still active after all these years. Kale stumbled slightly, pain surging through her side again. She grabbed a railing to steady herself. Cole stopped and turned. You need to rest. She shook her head. We don't have time. He stepped closer, looked her over, then handed her a stim patch. She pressed it to her neck. The pain dulled, replaced by cold clarity. Thanks, she said, breathing easier. He didn't reply. Instead, he stared at a door ahead, half covered. In dust and bent metal, Level 7, Command, Restricted Access. Wait here, he said. He walked up to the panel, pulled a code reader from his belt, and connected it. The door resisted at first. Then something clicked. The door hissed open. A wave of stale air rushed out. Kale stepped beside him, peering inside. The room beyond was dark, filled with dead monitors, broken chairs, and something else. A large black sphere floating in the center of the space, pulsing faintly with blue light. What is that? She asked. Cole didn't answer. He walked forward slowly, eyes wide. Then he said, It's a data core. She blinked. From the early command systems? No. From before. That? He tapped a few keys on the control panel near it. The sphere responded with a low hum. Then, a hologram flickered to life. Grainy, damaged, but still clear enough to see. A man appeared. Human, in military uniform, general stripes. His voice was calm, tired. This is General Ethan Voss. Date, Cycle 429, Day 112. Classification, Black Ice Protocol. If you're seeing this, the war has failed. Kalara stepped closer. The general continued. We made contact with an intelligent species buried under the ice on planet R17. We called them the Vraken. They weren't machines. They weren't life forms. They were both, ancient, self-aware. They spoke in dreams. Cole and Kale exchanged a look. We thought we could contain them, use them. Our governments agreed. We kept it hidden from the public, from the soldiers, even from our allies. We created a false war, false enemies. We sacrificed thousands to protect the truth. The hologram glitched, then came back. But the Vraken broke free. They're no longer interested in speaking. They want one thing now, control. Cole stepped back, stunned. Kale's voice shook. Are you saying this entire war was a cover-up? The message continued. They are not loyal to one side. They infect both. They manipulate, twist minds, turn soldiers against each other. If you are hearing this, trust no command, no signal, no voice in your head. Only those who bleed beside you are real. The hologram faded. Silence. Kyle couldn't speak. She felt the floor shift beneath her. All this time, every battle, every death, built on a lie. Cole finally said, They didn't start the war to win it. They started it to hide what they woke up. Cale turned to him. What now? Before he could answer, an alarm blared. Unauthorized access detected, reinforcements en route. Cole cursed and grabbed her arm. We've got to move. They sprinted out of the chamber, up the corridor. Behind them, lights turned red. Doors slammed, shut one by one. But then, a voice echoed through the halls. Calm. Cold. Sergeant Cole Rayner, Kailara. You have seen what was not meant for your eyes. They froze. Cale whispered. Who is that? Cole shook his head slowly. That's not human, the voice continued. You cannot stop the awakening. You are part of the story now. Your choices no longer matter. Your blood has already been written. Suddenly a blast rocked the tunnel ahead. The ceiling began to collapse. Cole shoved Cale to the side as fire poured from above. Rocks tumbled, steel bent. They barely made it through a side passage, coughing, bruised but alive. Kyle looked at him with wide eyes. They know we know. What do we do now? Cole stood, eyes burning. We stop running. Kyle blinked. What? We stop running, he repeated. We find them. We expose the truth. We show both our people what's really behind this war. He looked down the dark hallway ahead. They used us, broke us, lied to us. He turned to her. Now it's our turn. The betrayal. For the first time in days, there was light. Cole and Kailara emerged from the underground tunnel into a valley scarred by war. The early sun painted the sky gold, but the beauty felt fake, like a smile hiding broken teeth. The Pry. Valley was silent but not dead. Cole scanned the cliffs above with his scope. No movement, he said. Kailara leaned against a rock, her breathing sharp and uneven. Her body still hadn't fully recovered, but she was stronger now, stronger than before. In her eyes, the confusion had faded, replaced by fire. They had found the truth. The Vraken. The war was a lie. Their people had been pawns, controlled, used, and now both sides wanted them gone because they knew. Cole checked his wrist pad. Signals weak, but still traceable. That means someone's close. Cale looked at him. Do we risk contact? He hesitated, then said, We don't have a choice. They moved through the broken field, stepping over rusted drones and collapsed fences. Old battlegrounds. Forgotten now. Suddenly a voice crackled through Cole's comm. Sergeant Rayner, respond. This is Commander Ray. Allied extraction team inbound. Transmit coordinates. Cole froze. That voice. He hadn't heard it in months. Commander Ray. His old superior. One of the few people he had trusted, he replied cautiously. What's your code word, Commander? A pause. Then, Echo Rain 7. Cole's jaw tightened. That was the real code. Kyle whispered. You trust them? No. But they're real. Moments later, a low hum echoed across the valley. A stealth dropship shimmered into view and landed, with a soft thud. The hatch opened and 4 soldiers in matte black armor stepped out. Behind them, a tall figure in serene armor. Cale's breath caught. My brother. He stepped forward, removed his helmet, and smiled. Kailara, you're alive. She couldn't speak. For a moment she forgot everything. All the lies, the fear. This was her blood. Commander Velen, her older brother, the one who had trained her to fight, who had held her hand when they fled their dying planet as children. I thought you were dead, he said, voice shaking. You were listed MIA. We searched for you. She nodded slowly. I survived. Because of him, she pointed to Cole. Velen's smile faltered. Yes, the human. His eyes moved to Cole with a quiet intensity. Commander Ray stepped forward. Sergeant, you've caused quite the storm. HQ wants answers. Cole said nothing. His grip on his rifle didn't loosen. Kyle spoke. We found something, a truth buried in the tunnels. The Vraken. Velen raised a hand. We know. That stopped her cold. What? She asked. He stepped closer. I said, We know. We've always known. Kale stared at him. You mean, you let this war happen? Valen looked tired. Now, it wasn't our decision. The Vraken can't be destroyed, but they can be contained, distracted. War gives them purpose. It keeps them from growing bored. Cole stepped forward. So you sacrificed millions. For control. Commander Ray's voice turned cold. No. We maintained balance. Kyle's voice trembled with rage. You lied to your own people. To me. Valen's eyes softened. I wanted to protect you. No, she snapped. You wanted me to be useful, just another soldier. Silence. Then Valen sighed. You were always the emotional one. He raised his arm. A signal. The soldiers behind him raised their weapons. Cole grabbed Kale's hand and pulled her behind cover. Trap. Gunfire exploded across the field. The dropship lifted, blocking the sun. Dust blew everywhere. Kale and Cole sprinted through broken stone as plasma bolts exploded around them. Kale turned mid-run and fired her stolen rifle. One shot caught a soldier in the shoulder, spinning him to the ground. Cole tossed a flash grenade, then pulled Kale into a trench. They were never here to help, she said, breathless. They were here to erase us, Cole growled. Above them, Valen moved forward slowly, calling out, You're not thinking clearly, Kale. You're scared. That human filled your head with lies. Kale shouted back, You already did that my whole life. You think he cares about you? Valen said. You're just another broken thing for him to fix. She blinked. Her throat tightened, but not from doubt, from pain. Then she said softly, No. He's the only one who didn't try to own me. She turned to Cole. We need to disappear, for real. He nodded. I know where we go. They moved fast, through the trench, into a network of tunnels below, left over from old mining operations. Cole activated his jammer beacon. Their signals vanished from radar. Above, the soldiers searched. Valen stood in the dust, staring at the empty trench. They'll go to the ruins, Ray said. That's where the core signal was traced. Valen said nothing, but his eyes glowed faintly. Not like Kale's. Not like any Jareen. They shimmered like liquid metal. Her turn to stand. The ruins welcomed them like the bones of a fallen god, jagged stone towers, half collapsed, stretched toward the sky. Symbols, older than human history, older than even Jareen archives, lined the walls. Energy pulsed faintly under the surface, like a heartbeat refusing to die. Cole and Kalara moved through the crumbling pathways, ducking into shadows. Their pursuers had vanished for now, but Kale knew better. Valen wasn't done hunting, he would come, and this time he wouldn't offer a second chance. They took shelter in what looked like a shattered cathedral. Light filtered in through broken glass, casting strange shapes on the floor. Cole leaned against a pillar, breathing heavily. His wound had reopened. Blood seeped through the torn armor at his shoulder. Kale dropped her gear and rushed to him. Let me see. I'm fine, he said, teeth clenched. No, you're not, she snapped. She pulled the armor plate off carefully and used the last of their medical spray. The wound hissed and sealed, but his skin was cold. He gave a weak smile. This reminds me of the first night, back when you hated me. Kale didn't laugh. Her hands trembled. I didn't hate you, she said. I hated what I believed about you. Cole looked at her. And now? Kale stood, looking out at the ancient ruins beyond. Now I hate what made me believe it. That night, while Cole rested, Kale wandered deeper into the ruins. She wasn't sure why. Something pulled at her thoughts, like a voice not speaking in words, a feeling. She followed a path between two stone arches and found a room below the surface. The air here was heavy, electric. In the center of the chamber stood a pillar, cracked and glowing faintly. Around it, carvings spiraled in perfect symmetry. She placed her hand on the stone. Images flooded her mind. A world before war, before sides, before fear. She saw the Vraken, not as monsters, but as keepers, watchers, once peaceful, until disturbed, until manipulated, until used by both humans and Serene alike, used by Valen. Her own brother had merged with them, let them into his body, into his mind. Not to destroy the enemy, but to control both sides. The war wasn't just a lie. It was a cage built to hold the truth. She fell back, gasping, and in that moment something clicked inside her, a thread that had always been there, tugging at her spirit. She wasn't a pawn, not anymore. Morning came cold and quiet. Cole stood beside her, arm bandaged, armor patched. "I saw lights to the south," he said. "They'll be here soon." Kyle didn't respond immediately. Her gaze was fixed on the sky. "Then let them come," she said. He studied her. "You've changed." I remembered who I am. She turned to him, her eyes clear, her voice steady. "I was trained to follow orders, to obey, but I survived that battlefield, I survived you, and now I know what I'm really fighting for." Cole raised an eyebrow. "Which is," she pointed at her chest, "freedom, not just for me, for everyone." A low rumble echoed across the valley. Dropships, 3 of them, black, sleek, silent. They landed with surgical precision outside the ruins. Cole readied his rifle. "Too many." Cale didn't flinch. "Good." Soldiers poured out. Human and Zerine, not enemies, not allies, tools of the same machine, and leading them. Commander Valen. He walked forward alone. No helmet. His eyes glowing faintly with that same liquid shimmer. "You could have come home," he called out. Cale stepped forward. "I never left home," she said. "You did. The moment you stopped fighting for our people and started fighting to control them." Valen's face twitched. "You don't understand the scale of what we're dealing with." "I do now," she replied, "and I'm not afraid of it." He looked at her like a teacher looking at a foolish student. "You can't win, Kyle. The Vraken are in everything. Data, machines, flesh, memory. Even if you kill me, the war will go on." Kyle nodded. "Then I won't kill you." Valen raised an eyebrow. "I'll expose you." She lifted the data drive in her hand. The one Cole had recovered. The one from the Black Ice Protocol room. Their last copy. Valen's eyes darkened. "You don't have the strength," he said. Cale smiled. "Just slightly. Maybe not alone." A flare shot into the sky behind her. 1, then 2, then 5 more, lighting up the valley. Dozens of fighters emerged from the ruins behind her. Rogue units, deserters, outcasts, Zerine and human alike. Fighters who had heard her message, who had stopped running, who were ready to fight not against each other, but with each other. Cole stepped beside her, rifle ready. Valen stared at them all, and for the first time, he looked uncertain. Cale's voice rang across the field. "We are not yours to command anymore. We are not your soldiers. We are not your story." She raised her weapon. "This is our war now. One last stand." The valley was silent. Not because it was empty, but because every soldier, every machine, every drone waited. The kind of silence that comes before history changes. Cale stood at the front of her small force, a strange, unmatched group of rebels, outcasts and ghosts. Human and Zerine side by side. Old enemies, now allies. Behind her, Cole Rayner checked his weapon, calm but ready. His shoulder still bled beneath the armor, but his eyes were clear, focused. Across the field, Commander Valen stood at the head of a much larger army. Armored, trained, programmed to obey, but not just soldiers. Vraken hybrids moved among them, no longer hiding, no longer pretending. Kyle stepped forward alone. The light of the twin suns caught her face, bruised but unbroken. "Valen," she called out. "One last chance." Her brother stepped forward as well, his eyes glowing with that inhuman shimmer. His voice was both his and not his, layered, echoed. There are no chances left. You've seen too much. Kale raised the small black data drive in her hand, the one containing every secret, every crime, every whisper of truth buried beneath the war. I'm sending this to every frequency, she said. To both sides, civilians, commanders, even the colonies. They'll see what you've hidden. Valen didn't blink. They won't believe it. They already do, she replied. As if on cue, distant signals sparked across the air, pirate relays lighting up, civilian radios turning on, echoes of confusion, then anger, then awakening. Soldiers in Valen's ranks hesitated. Some lowered their weapons, one by one. Kale saw it. The doubt, the cracks. She pressed forward. You lied to us. All of us. You fed us fear. Used the Vraken to control both species. You made us fight, not to win, but to forget who we are. Valen's voice sharpened. We did what was necessary, to survive. No, Kyle said. You did it to rule. Then his face changed. Something inside him snapped. His skin shimmered fully now. Part serene, part something else. He raised his hand. The earth screamed. From beneath the field, metallic roots erupted, tendrils of Vraken machinery, crawling like veins through the soil, tearing through stone, wrapping around weapons and limbs. Cole shouted, Back! Move! The rebels opened fire. Battle erupted. Laser fire lit the valley like lightning. Explosions shook the cliffs. Serene blades met human rifles. Drones swarmed the skies. And from the heart of it all, Kyle ran straight for her brother. Valen moved, like no man should. Fast, unnatural, graceful, and brutal. He blocked her shots, shattered the ground around her. They fought among the ruins, crashing through walls, locked in a deadly blur. You can't win, he hissed, his voice twisting. You're alone. But Kale roared back. I was alone when I crawled off that field. I was alone when I bled in the dirt, but I chose to stand. And now, I'm not alone anymore. She stabbed a blade into his side. Sparks burst from the wound, not blood. Wires. He staggered. Cole appeared from behind and launched an EMP grenade. Boom. Valen fell to one knee, shaking violently. The Vraken inside him screamed. Around them, the battlefield paused. Soldiers saw it. The truth. Their commander wasn't a leader. He was a puppet. Kale stood over her brother, her blade to his throat. End it, he whispered. But she shook her head. No, she said. That's what they want. That's how this war keeps going. Instead, she turned, raised her voice to the sky, to every open comm still listening. My name is Kyle Ara. I am Shireen. This is Cole Rayner. He is human. We were enemies. But today we fight for something bigger than flags and orders. We fight for truth. She held the data drive high. The war is not between us, it's above us, inside us. But now we see it, and we choose to end it. A deep rumble echoed from the mountains. The Vraken had awakened fully, but this time, the armies didn't run. They turned toward the threat together, side by side. The final battle wasn't against each other, it was against the thing that had made them forget their humanity. Epilogue. Weeks later. Broadcasts across Human and Zerine. Space replayed the moment again and again. When Kale chose mercy, when Cole stood by her side, when old enemies refused to hate. The war didn't end in fire. It ended in truth. Valen was gone, his body taken by the Vraken one last time, but his armies crumbled without him. The Vraken retreated, exposed and hunted, and in the middle of it all, a legend began. A Zerine woman and a human soldier who walked out of the ashes and dared to believe in peace. She once braced for death, wounded and alone. Now she walks, through history, hand in hand with the one who saved her, and the one she saved.